Hey everybody, well, welcome to Game Prime, um, a new episode of Third Down and One. Happy New Year, well, early New Year's Eve, um, and we're about to head into the new year of 2024. And we know there's um, a lot that we're looking forward to happen in 2024 with Colorado and Coach Prime. There's much going on right now within the Colorado and Coach Prime universe. We know recently just we had news of Coach Kelly leaving. Today we're going to talk about several things. What's happening in Colorado. We're going to talk about what to expect in the coming year of 2024. There's things that we know that we want for ourselves in 2024. Some expectations that we're looking forward from Colorado, the Buffs, and the new offensive line, Coach Prime, our new offensive coordinator, um, the new O line, Coach Phil Loadhouse. So much to look forward as we kind of get into this new year of 2024. So it's an exciting time. And as we kind of move into 2024, we know that there's a lot happening in college football with NIL, with recruiting. We just recently heard what was happening with Jordan Seaton in a negative recruiting. So much to talk about. But one of the main things we want to kind of get out of the way, some housekeeping, is third and one. Why did we even come up with the name of third and one? We know in football that third and one is probably a very um, is a down position, a distance and down that is very favorable. But it also means that you fail twice before you got to third down and one. That means you fail to get first down on your first down and 10. That means you also fail to get first down on second down. But that's kind of how life is sometimes, is that um, failure kind of gets us into position to have more options. And that's one of the things that we really liked going with the name of third down and one, because when you get to a third down and one in football, you have more options. You can run, you can pass, so many different things you can do. In life, when you have options, there's different things you can take advantage of, as opposed to when you don't have those options. So third down and one, I like to say it didn't. I didn't choose third down and one. It kind of chose me from kind of my personality and some of the things that I care about. One of my passions is helping people. I've done that for most of my life. And if I didn't introduce myself, I'm Lowell Fortune. You can easily just call me L. Um, I spent several years in the military, and I am now an entrepreneur, an author, and my heart, my passion is just to help people, to give insight, provide my talents and my abilities, my skill sets, to encourage people to, you know, bring out the best within them. One of the things that I believe is that in every one of us, we've been given an opportunity and given talents and gifts to kind of bless the world. And my task is to kind of help people do that, because I believe that inside of every one of us um, is the things that the world needs, and is a matter of how do we get that out of ourselves. And that's one of the things you kind of see with Coach Prime and Colorado. He's impacting the lives of these young men in such a way that they're learning more than just football. They're learning how to win on and off the field of play. They're learning the importance beyond just the bag, because when the bag is gone, the only thing you have left is you, right? And that's the irony, and the kind of funny thing about this is that all of the things that's coming up about the bag now is about name, image, and likeness. That's who you are as a person, and that name, image, and likeness is going to go with you no matter where you are. So if you don't develop it in the right way, then the value of your name, image, and likeness won't be as high as it could be. So now, when you kind of think about what Coach Prime is doing in Colorado, he's getting these young men to understand that there's life beyond the bag. So what do you have beyond the bag? If your college football, your football days are over, what do you have beyond the bag? And when you kind of see these young men coming in now, example, case in point, Jordan Seaton, who recently came on to signed to become part of the Buffs, and there were so many, so many teams coming after him, uh, different deals, different situations. And but one of the things that he stuck true is he understood. You can tell that he's a very young, smart young man. He understood the value of connecting and being with Coach Prime, because recently you saw in an interview that he stated that one of the deciding factors was that he realized that Coach Prime is connected to many other things that he want to have access to. And in life, access is so important. It access takes you beyond dollars. Access takes you beyond the bag. Access puts you in a position where you can force multiply your opportunity, right? And this is basically what Jordan Seaton is doing right now. He's force multiplying his access with the time that he has with Coach Prime at in Colorado. So if you take a page out of his book, and you are a young man out there looking to, play at a school, why not Colorado? Or why not come and give yourself an opportunity to get exposure? Why not come and give yourself an opportunity to be connected in a relationship and a network that's vast when you connected with Coach Prime and we connected with Colorado and the Buffs? So when you kind of, if we kind of go back now and look at the name, image, and likeness, your name is going to be your name. You only get one face unless you go to, cosmetic surgery, plastic surgery, of course. But all that being aside, you get one name, one image, one likeness, right? And you are your first company. You are your first startup. And if you get started on the right path, then your name, image, and likeness is going to be more valuable over time. You can get to the point where you get to get before companies and talk to them and kind of explain your perspectives on sports and the connection of sports and life and business. There's so many opportunities. Maybe write a book, but you won't get that if your eyes are just focused on the bag, because the bag will end. Let's look at the bag as, when you think about source versus resource, right? The bag is a resource. That means it has to be replenished, right? Whereas the source is your name, image, and likeness, right? So if your source is tapped into something that's bringing value to your name, image, and likeness, then your bag, right, your resource will be replenished, because every bag runs out. There is no such thing as a bottomless bag. There is an end that comes to the bag, to money. But when you can renew your resource, when you can renew the money that you have, that's where you really build a value in things, right? So that's that about the NIL. If we want to kind of broach the situation with Coach Kelly, over time I've come to realize that it's very easy to jump to conclusions. It's very easy to make assumptions, especially when you don't have all of the information. So I tend to kind of uh, gauge things as far as when these things come about with players and these things come about with coaches is step back and kind of think about, okay, I wasn't there in the beginning. I wasn't there in the midst of deals, agreements, conversations. So I'm coming at this half cocked, right? Because I don't have all of the information. So now, if I step back with that understanding, then I can start to look at things differently and say, okay, well, maybe this is happening because there was a conversation that was had a long time ago before we were even aware of that conversation. There was a conversation that was had, and that in that conversation there was an agreement and there was an understanding. Let's say, in this scenario, agreement and understanding with Coach Prime and Coach Kelly that they both understood and they both agreed upon. Had nothing to do with the outside world, but there was an understanding that should a certain condition occur, then they would take certain steps. So now, if we look at it in that way, can we now say that that condition has occurred, and now those steps are taking place, and they're all in agreement with one another as a result? There's really no news. There's really no news, nothing juicy to be had here except for an agreement, an established agreement that was had, that was made, and now that condition has been met for that agreement to take effect, right? That's kind of how and I look at it. So even when you go back and you rewind to when Jordan Seaton was uh, didn't fully commit or sign to Colorado, if you kind of stop and you look at how everything was laid out, and you really kind of follow Coach Prime and the things that he does and that he doesn't do, um, there's no way in God's green earth he was going to put Jordan Seaton on Undisputed and on the Rich Einstein show without understanding the caliber and the character of the young man in Jordan Seaton. So that's kind of where I kind of put my hat on, is the understanding kind of who Coach Prime is, his character, his conviction, his confidence, and his commitment, and that's really why I'm coming out now, right? This kind of like a coming out a party, is because I've been in the back watching, listening, kind of going through all of the different YouTubers that follow Coach Prime, finding out who's really for him and who's actually just there because it's an opportunity to get quote unquote the YouTube bag, right? The the views and the clicks, right? So even when you kind of think about studying people and understanding who they are and their personality, something I picked up from Coach Prime is that um, he is even very careful and chooses his words. You will hear him say that I love you to life, where many people say I love you to death. And does that make sense? If you love someone, you love them to death, right? So even in the phrases that he chooses is chosen carefully, right? So when you listen to people, they would tell you who they are if you listen to what they say. So if we listen more, we'll kind of understand who he is as a person for us, Coach Prime. And if we listen to people around us, we'll understand who they are and what they believe and what they don't believe. Okay. So that's kind of that little thing I wanted to discuss there. So now, if we look at 2024, right? In 2024, we are coming for more. What does that mean? We're coming for more in 2024. Well, in 2023, the record of 8-4 was nowhere near what the the desire was, right? No, nowhere near. It was far off the mark, but far surpassed what it was last year at 1-11. So there's so much to be gleaned from this year's performance. We learned in many ways who was with Coach Prime. Many of those people were smoked out. We learned the players that really love the game and those who may not love it to the level that is necessary to perform at a high level, especially where Colorado is projected to go. So now, as we go into 2024, the expectation is that we will make it to the playoffs, which make it to the playoffs, that means the bowl is inherently done. It's check that box, right? It comes with the territory of making it to playoffs. So that's one of the biggest things in 2024. But in 2024, I also believe that the impact that was had this year in 2023 is going to pale in comparison when we start to look at what's going to happen in 2024. And what do I mean by that? Well, you see the attack that Coach Prime is under now, right? And Gandhi said this many many years ago. He said that first they ignore you, right? They don't pay you any attention. Um, then they will laugh at you because they're kind of nervous that you might be doing something, you might be on to something here. But then finally they fight you. They fight you on every opportunity, on every hand. But then finally you win, right? So in 2024, I believe there's going to be an acceleration of this process where we're going to see Colorado win big, right? Very big, to the point that people are now talking about. Well, I thought the recruits will be running to Colorado and they'll be just flocking to Boulder to play for Coach Prime. They're coming. This year was just laying the groundwork. This was the phase one, right? And phase two is coming. That's 2024. Phase two is 2024. And in 2024, there's going to be an explosion that's going to happen in Colorado, in Boulder, in the lives of these young men who are coming over now with this new offensive line that's coming over, these guys who are believing and trusting in what Coach Prime is building in Colorado. There's going to be an explosion in their lives. There's going to be an explosion on the field. There's going to be an explosion in the fandom and the growth. So they thought they really disliked or hated what happened in 2023, but this was just a small smattering, just like a speck, like a dust, as to what's going to happen in 2024. Because now there's an entire buildup that's happening, this strategy that's being built, that's being put into play. I like to say that Coach Prime is playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers, because I've kind of been watching, from afar, and watching some of the things that have been put into play. Even when you think about how he continues to uh, control the news cycle, right? And he owns the news cycle when he decides to own it. Whenever he wants to own it, he owns it, right? Strategy, game planning. So even right now, when people are trying to kick up dust and smoke and try to cause issues with the um, with the team, he already has multiple steps, multiple things in play, ready to go. And the reason why I kind of feel this and know this is because my background is in strategy in the military. So I see Coach Prime like a master. military strategist, right, on the field, putting things in play and then watching them play out. Because when you strategize and you put things in play, and it's your play and it's your strategy, then there's an outcome that you expect to see, and it also allows you to flesh people out and flush them out. People who might not be for you and who might be close to you. So a lot we can learn from Coach Prime in our daily lives, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, third down and one is, kind of the theme of this live show, is because there's so many times that we fail. We fail to get a first down in our lives. We fail to get a second down in our life, and then we're faced with a third down and one. But that third down and one, we have options, right? We have an option that we can pass. We have an option to run. But it's so important to have options, and that's what you see. Coach Prime is he's providing options to these young men who just think that the only thing that they can have is a bag. So I'm going to run from this school to that school to get a bag. But he's telling them, wait, let me give you another option. Okay, this is your third? It's third down and one for you, right? And this is your opportunity to make a decision that can catapult your career, catapult your life, and change the life, your family's life, right? So he's giving these young men and putting them in third down and one positions, right? Look at um, look at Travis Hunter. Recently Travis Hunter just signed an agreement, NIL deal. One of the first of his kind with a company, but he's also on that board, right? And I believe he's one of the first NIL athletes to be on the board of a company, as a advisor, right? On a company that's actually giving him an NIL deal. I think that's a testament to his smarts as far as Travis Hunter. That's also a testament to the impact that Coach Prime is having on his life. So when you start to see these things happening, you have to take notice and you have to understand that these things don't happen by mistake. This is Coach Prime's effect in the lives of our young men like Travis Hunter, and more men that are coming to Colorado that he's going to impact and that he's going to touch in a way that's going to really it's going to move, it's going to shake the earth in 2024, right? That's kind of what I see happening. So when we think